The next section of our evening is actually a really exciting one. We were able to invite some of the missionaries that we partner with, and we have them here this evening. And I had a thought while I was worshiping. I believe when we go to heaven, we're going to be excited to see all the patriarchs, like, oh my goodness, Abraham, he's right there, Moses, oh, he's so cool. But then also, I felt like we have a lot of heroes in the making. And our friends, I think I can just honestly say, I have a group of people in my life that I can just see and just secretly know, yeah, he's a superhero in the making. And it would be so much cooler when we get there. We're going to see that all that they've done. And it's not going to be just the physical changes, but the spiritual shiftings that they made here on this earth. And one of those guests this evening is Krista Allgor. She is from our NHM body, and she is finishing up her 4th year in Cambodia with Agape International Missions. And she's going to come up and she's going to share a brief message about what she's been doing over there, what she's been learning, some of the struggles and some of the breakthroughs that she's been having there. So as we welcome her up, can we just give her a warm family applause to her?
Hello. How are you guys? Good. It's great to be here. Thank you for welcoming me. I'm glad to be back and to get this opportunity to share with you. For those of you who don't know too much about me, my name is Krista, and I grew up in Minnesota in America. And after, thanks. After I graduated university, I came to Seoul. I taught English for 2 years. I came to NHM, and this was my community, my home here. And it was really here that God showed me the evil of sex trafficking around the world. And as my passion grew, the more I learned, the more I researched, I felt like God was leading me specifically to Cambodia. And I've been there for the last 3.5 years, serving with Agape International Missions, fighting the battle of sex trafficking there. At Agape, or AIM, our mission is to rescue, restore, and reintegrate survivors of sex trafficking through Christ's love and gospel, and to prevent sexual slavery by planting and equipping the church and transforming the community. We do this through a holistic approach, by investigating and rescuing those enslaved, by providing safe places where they can receive love and care, by offering safe and sustainable employment, and by preventing and educating the community. So what is human trafficking? Human trafficking is the recruitment, transportation, or transfer of a person by force or coercion or threat for the purpose of exploitation. Sexual exploitation, or by forced labor. They might be trafficked within a city, to other cities, or even to other countries. The Global Slavery Index estimates that 45.8 million people are enslaved in some form today. And many of you may be aware of this evil of sex trafficking. It's not just happening in other countries. It's not just happening during big world events, but it's happening in your communities here in Seoul. It's happening everywhere, and you may or may not be seeing it. So what's happening in Cambodia? Well, about 10 years ago, this little village outside of Phnom Penh called Svai Pak, it was considered to be the epicenter of child sex trafficking. This is a place where parents were okay to sell their children for sex, some as young as 4 or 5 years old, maybe for just an hour or two, maybe for a day, for a week. They sold their daughters as virgins to make money or to help them get out of debt. This is a place where they value their children differently, and the devil was running free. We believe much of this stems from the late 70s when the Khmer Rouge took power of the country. They killed a quarter of their population, their own people. They broke apart the family structure, teaching that the family isn't important anymore. They even made children spy on their own parents. The people that survived witnessed some awful things. And many of them have developed post-traumatic stress disorder. And we've seen that this has been passed on through 2 different generations. And now their view of the family structure has been altered. So while we might see that selling your child is not an option, it's horrible. Right? This is important to understand as we look into how can we help solve this problem. This is part of the reality of trafficking in Cambodia. There are also young girls or young women, usually starting as maybe teenagers, who feel a sense of obligation to help their family, to help their parents. These girls see sex work as an easy way to make money. Maybe they're in debt, they want to provide for their family. Maybe they want something new, they want a new phone, and it's an easy way for them to make money. However, once they're raped countless times, they have a hard time finding a way out. Their society has now told them that they are trash, that they're not valuable, they're not worth anything, and they feel stuck, maybe trapped in this life, and they don't see any other way or any other future. Some of them might be pressured by their parents to keep making money, to stay in, even if they don't want to. Their parents won't tell them you can't come back unless you continue. Another area of trafficking that we've seen in the last few years is Cambodian women being trafficked to China. With the shortage of women in China, it's created a major problem in Cambodia and other neighboring countries. These girls might be approached by an older Cambodian woman, someone that they could see, they could trust, right? Maybe look up to, a mentor. And the girls trust them and say, yeah, I'll go to China and get a good job, maybe working at a factory or cleaning someone's house. But once they get to China, they're brought to a house and a man comes in to buy them and marry them. And now they're stuck in a family, in a country that they don't know the language, they don't know where they are. Most likely they'll be pregnant soon and really have no hope of getting out of that situation. So what do we do? What do we do about this? Well, first of all, we work and we live in the community, sharing the love of Christ. And in the past 10 years, we've seen incredible growth in this community, this Swipak outside of Phnom Penh, that used to be a haven for pedophiles. There are no more child brothels in this area, and people in the community are standing up to protect their children. I want to share a video, a short story about a girl named Toha, who was sold as a virgin, but now she's found hope, and she wants to share her stories with others.
Toa is an amazing young woman. She has a bravery that I don't think the outside world understands.
When Toha heard there was a client for virgins, she didn't know what that meant.
How old were you when your mother wanted to sell your virginity?
14 tuổi. Trong đêm đó khi con đi con buồn nhưng mà con quyết định không phải đi. Tại vì gia đình con rất là thiếu thốn, con phải đi. Lúc đó con không nghĩ gì hết, con chỉ nghĩ là mình có thể đem tiền cho gia đình thôi.
Yeah, you wanted to be a good daughter.
Like the others, Toha says she was checked at a hospital, issued a certificate of virginity, and delivered to a man at a hotel. He kept her there for 3 nights And it didn't end there.
Nhà một thời gian về cũng được nửa tháng gì đó thì ông khách đó điện kêu đi nữa. Không có đi nhưng mà mẹ thì điện lại kêu đi hoài à. Con không muốn đi, có lần đó con buồn thì con có vô phòng tắm con Lý Lam con cắt tay. Lý Lam cắt tay tự giận á. Con sẽ sang gặp thì có người bạn đập cửa vô. Mẹ không có biết. Một thời gian nữa thì con đi làm ở bên Cambodia đó.
Even though you knew at the brothel you were going to have to sleep with other men?
Đúng, tại vì con rất là thương gia đình con phải đi.
So how long did you stay at that brothel?
20 mấy ngày.
She managed to get her hands on a phone and called a friend for help. Her friend called Dawn, who traveled to southern Cambodia to rescue Toha from the brothel.
When she first came, she went in our secure aftercare center because there was not just the bad guys who wanted to get her. Frankly, her mother wanted to get her to send her back to the brothel. I can't imagine what it feels like to have your mother sell you, to have your mother waiting in the car while she gets money for you to be raped. How can that feel to a kid? It's not she was stolen from her mother. Her mother gave the keys to the people to rape her. I mean, it's, yeah.
It is finally Judgment Day for the brothel managers who kept Toha under lock and key for 22 days. Don is optimistic. He says the judge was visibly moved when Toha testified.
He understood the reality of what happened to Toha in 22 days. Because looking at it from the outside, you could say, wow, just 22 days she was rescued from sex trafficking. The truth is, in those 22 days, she was raped 198 times.
The verdict for the brothel manager and his wife, 3 years in prison. Though not the maximum, it's a start. They were also ordered to pay fees to the court and fines to their victims.
Well, it mean a lot to Toha. It will mean an unbelievable amount if she gets the $5,000 that she was awarded. But more than that, it's just the idea that she was brave, she stood up, and now people are going to pay the price and girls will be protected. So it's not just that she was rescued. Now that brothel is shut down. There's nothing going on there, and other girls have been freed. So it'll be a big deal for her.
Toha wants to speak out. She wants her voice to be heard.
Tương lai sẽ giúp được nhiều người giống như là con đã từng trải qua những việc đó.
So it's stories like Toha's story that show me how God is in control and He's on our side. She came from this small village, Swaipak, and she knew about what we were doing, and that's how we were able to rescue her. Additionally, we've created partnerships with the anti-trafficking police in Cambodia, and we're now conducting our own investigations in Cambodia and in China with the help of the Chinese government. God continues to show His greatness in these rescues and these investigations. We recently reached the mark of our 100th underage rescue and the 50th rescue of a girl from China, which is pretty amazing to see how far they've come in only 2 years. So I have the privilege of working in our secured aftercare home, and we care for over 50 girls and young women. Currently, the ages of these girls are anywhere between 10 and 18. We also care for a few adults who've chosen to stay in our program longer. Most of these girls, when they come to our aftercare home, have lost whatever dreams they once had. Society says they're unwanted, they're dirty, and many have had little education or training. Our goal is to return hope to their lives, to show them who Jesus is, and to help them understand how loved they are, that they have worth, that they're able to do things they never thought possible, and to empower them to be who God created them to be. We do these things through counseling, through education, spiritual devotions, by modeling it, by playing and singing and dancing, through discipline, encouragement, and prayer. We've recently adapted our program or our approach because the age of our girls has changed, has shifted. When I first started 3.5 years ago, the average age of our girls that would come was about 10 to 12 years old. And now the average age is 15 to 17. We found that these older girls, they don't want to be helped. They don't want to be rescued. They want to continue providing for their families. They may have been brainwashed to say that the shelters aren't going to help you, they're not going to love you, you're better off where you are. So to help with this, we've created a more specific approach and a specific program where we're teaching vocational and life skills and also providing on-site job opportunities in a 3 or 6 month program. When they turn 18 or after they've reached their 6 months, some of them can choose to leave, right? We're still determining the results of this. And so far it's been mixed, right? Some girls, they turn 18 or they've reached their 6 months and they say, I'm out. I don't want your help. I'm going to go back to doing whatever I want to do. But some girls take advantage of the things that we offer. They're learning vocational skills, real life skills that they can take to get jobs in other parts of the country or with our partnering organizations. One girl who came, she shared her story at one point, but she said when she first got to our shelter, she didn't want to be there. She hated it. She cried every day. She told us every day, I want to go home. Send me home. I want to go home. And after a few months, her heart started to soften. She received Jesus. And when it was time for her to go home, she said how she was so thankful that she had the opportunity to stay with us. And she was telling these new girls that just came that were fighting, causing all sorts of problems. She said, these staff, these people love you. Right? Don't worry, these people love you. And she encouraged and empowered other girls who were struggling through similar situations. So even though many girls might choose to go back to sex work, they might choose to leave the program early, there are some who receive Jesus and have hope return to their lives. We face challenges, right, in all of our lives, but along with the dark nature of our work, my biggest challenges personally are communication, the weather, decision making, and my health. So I'm studying the Khmer language, but many days it isn't quite enough to be able to effectively communicate or even be able to communicate well with our other English-speaking staff. While you might think that highs of 90 degrees Fahrenheit every day sounds great and nice and sunny and warm, it's very hot and humid and can be very draining day after day, which is another challenge. Majority of my day seems to be spent making decisions or helping other people make decisions, and if you've ever experienced that, you know that it can be very draining and taxing mentally and emotionally. And then there's my health. I'm learning how to be more content with where I'm at in my recovery from a recent major health issue last year. I've had to learn how to slow down and take more breaks. While there will always be challenges, and hearing these horror stories of the girls can be tough, I believe it's important to focus on the positive. Focus on the good things that God is doing, like improved behavior in one of the girls, or a marked achievement in their education. One of our girls, she wants to be a social worker. And to do that, she needs to continue her education. And she took a placement test to get into a really good private school nearby. And the test results came in, and the teacher came back to tell her, and she passed. And these tears just streamed down her face of joy and excitement that she could continue studying. Maybe it's the first hug that I received from a girl who, when she first came, was very shy or quiet. Maybe it's a new girl who was in fights the first week that she came, but is now attending devotions every night with the house moms. I believe God can heal and restore these girls, that He can restore hope to their lives. And I'm privileged to be able to help our staff in sowing these seeds. And I have faith that God will do mighty things in and through them. So you might ask, how long am I planning to stay in Cambodia? I love what I do. I love our staff. I love our girls, usually. I can't really imagine leaving, but I do feel that my time in Cambodia is coming to an end, at least for now. And I trust that God will make that clear. And it seems right now that it will be next June or July. So please join me in praying for that next step. You can also pray for the girls and our staff at our aftercare home. And next month we'll be moving locations, which will be quite the task, as I'm learning already. Please pray for the church, right, in the community that we work in, that they might continue to shine God's life into that darkness. Pray for me personally that I can continue setting healthy boundaries to stay healthy and manage my stress, and to keep my eyes, my mind, and my heart focused on Jesus all day. I know this issue of sex trafficking is not an easy thing to hear about. Some people shy away. Some people are intrigued. They want to know more. And it's difficult to know how to respond. So I want to encourage you, if you feel like God is nudging you to do something or learn more, then pray about it. Read about it. I believe God will show you how you can respond. Thank you so much for inviting me here, for your continued love and support. My heart is just filled with joy and gratitude. I'm very thankful to be here. Thanks. Ako ang charan.